In the 16th century, it was as valuable as a diamond. Indian royalty called it the king's nut. Traders considered it one of the three great luxuries of Eastern trade, along with spices and ivory. The gold that growing on trees. Hey guys, it's me life. Let's talk about cashews today. Yep, cashews have a wild backstory, and today, we're going to dive into why they're called gold on trees. Alright, let's rewind to the 16th century. A Portuguese explorer, Pedro Álvares Cabral, landed in Brazil and came across the Tupi people, one of the biggest indigenous groups in the region. He noticed they were eating this bright golden fruit, but before munching on the nut inside, they roasted it over fire. Weird, right? Turns out the Portuguese were blown away by this discovery and took cashews back to Europe, where they became the ultimate luxury treat. At one point, 1 pound of cashews could buy you a pound of silver, which was basically a few months' salary for an average worker. In India, cashews were known as king's nuts. Only royalty and nobles could afford them. Now, here's the crazy part. Cashews aren't easy to handle. Portuguese missionaries recorded warnings from the Tupi people saying, "You must roast these nuts first, or they'll burn your hands." The Portuguese tried to roast cashews themselves, but without the proper technique, they ended up burning their skin badly because the shell of the cashew is toxic. Ouch. Cashews look weird before processing. Before they become those smooth, curved nuts you snack on, cashews grow inside a lantern-shaped fruit that's 5 to 10 centimeters long. When ripe, it turns bright golden yellow. Pretty gorgeous. Cashews are part of a rare group of plants where the fruit and seed are separate, kinda like strawberries, pineapples. The juicy fruit, we call them cashew apple, is actually eatable and often used for juice, while the nut hangs below it like a tiny tail is the cashew. Cashews aren't just tasty, they're dangerous to process. Believe it or not, cashew shelling is as hazardous as mining or construction work. I have looked at the record between 2019 and 2024. There are thousands of injuries recorded, and they are mostly during the process of shelling. Cashew shells contain cardol and strong acidic resins, which can burn skin, cause blisters, and even lead to skin cancer with long-term exposure. Cashews don't grow ready to eat, they go through a wild transformation. First, we boil raw cashews to remove their natural toxins. Yes, they're toxic. After drying, each shell is carefully cracked and peeled by hand to reveal the buttery kernel inside. Then, they're roasted, seasoned, and packed, turning from dangerous seeds into your favorite snack.
Delicious!
Cashews are now everywhere, but just how many do we produce? Global production now hits 4.5 million tons annually. Let's see who is the biggest player. Number 4, we have Vietnam, 400,000 tons per year. Cambodia, 680,000 tons per year. India, 765,000 tons per year. Number 1 is the Ivory Coast with 1.335 million tons per year. Here's the twist. Vietnam only grows 400,000 tons, but it's the world's number 1 exporter, handling over 50% of global cashew trade in 2024. How? Vietnam imports 1.8 to 2.2 million tons of raw cashews yearly, mostly from Africa, then processes and re-exports them. This African farming, Vietnamese processing, global sales system makes Vietnam the undisputed cashew trade king.
Nice job.
But why go through all this trouble? Follow the money. The raw, unprocessed cashews price is about $1,000 to $1,500 per ton. However, the processed cashew can go up to over $10,000 per ton. That's a 10x value jump. No wonder Vietnam earns $3.5 to $4 billion annually from this tiny nut.
Wow!
Talk about a smart business model. Meet my little buddy Ngan. In Vietnam, we have a saying,
Hạt điều tây điều, nhưng lurking không know.
which means cashews may be small, but their benefits are huge. Yay! Vietnam not only dominate the cashew market, they also dominate the weirdest cashew story ever. In Vietnam's Ninh Thuận province, farmers kept noticing something wild. Their cashew trees weren't staying put. Like they'd mark a tree spot, come back after monsoon season, and boom, it's a meter away. At first they're like, did someone mess with my trees? But nope, the trees were moving themselves. Turns out these cashews have drama. Scientists found their roots grow sideways, like 20 meters long, to hunt for water and avoid toxic soil thanks to old war chemicals. So technically, they're not walking, but more like slow motion, crawling away from death. Nature's survival mode is next level. Now the cashew farm became a hot tourist spot. The bleeding ghost trees. If that wasn't creepy enough, some 50-year-old cashew trees in Vietnam leak red sap. Seriously, it looks like the tree's bleeding. Locals used to think it was cursed. Science says, nope, it's a mix of fungus, iron overload, 3,000% more than normal, and possibly leftover Agent Orange messing with the soil. Farmers call them ghost trees. Because if you saw a tree oozing red liquid at night, you'd run too. Crazy, right? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time with more wild stories.